potential military intervention. Now, international monitoring groups say that hundreds of protesters have been killed since citizens began taking to the streets late last month. Concerns over the cost of living turning into a movement against the clerical regime more broadly, which is now responding with mass arrests and killings, a move that Trump says is approaching the point of requiring a response.
There seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it.
The flow of information out of the country being hampered by internet blackouts, which started last week. President Trump says that he's planning to speak with SpaceX founder Elon Musk about restoring service using his Starlink systems. Now, Trump has also been briefed over recent days on new options for military strikes in Iran as he considers following through on his previous threats. Several reports indicate that the president has been presented with a range of responses, including strikes on non-military sites inside of the capital of Tehran. Now, the Iranian regime has reached out to the White House in recent days, proposing to renew nuclear talks with the administration. But Trump is warning that he may be forced to act before any talks take place, warning that the U.S. stands ready to defend the Iranian people from the brutal crackdown, and says that the U.S. will respond decisively to any retaliatory action that's carried out against American troops in the region if Iran decides to go down that route. Sean?
Salvi, Alex, with that report. Thank you. We'll bring in now Ken Timmerman, a senior fellow at the America First Policy Institute, and Waleed Phares is a Newsmax foreign policy analyst and former Trump foreign policy advisor. Great to see you both. Ken, let me start with you. So more than 500 dead throughout these Iranian protests, protesting against the regime. And President Trump says that they're very close to crossing America's red line. What is that exactly, Ken, in your mind would that be?
Well, I think we're there right now. Look, the sharp spike in increase of killings, the regime turned off the internet over the weekend. This is what they do. They turn off the internet so they can kill in silence. They can kill in the darkness. There were 45 people who've been killed as of about Thursday or Friday. Now, the death toll, according to the human rights monitors on the ground, is over 550 and rising all of the time. This has become a very serious crisis. The president has many options on the table. They do not have to involve U.S. troops on the ground. We have many ways of exercising leverage against the Iranian regime through cyber attacks, disabling their ability to communicate. We can also hit regime targets or disable regime targets in Tehran, leadership targets. So there's lots of things this president can do if he decides to take action.
It's pretty unbelievable. I don't remember reporting on anything like this, quite to this extent, in terms of nearly 500 protesters being killed, that report. And not just that, but the Iranian people pushing back on the regime. I mean, something that is to the likes of 1979. The Islamic Revolution I'm referring to. Let me go back, though, domestically, if I can, Waleed, with you, and what's happened in L.A., Control Room DD33. So there was an alleged driver of a U-Haul truck plowing through these demonstrations in Los Angeles. A person was detained after driving through. Luckily, no one was killed or seriously injured. But ultimately, you're seeing those on the ground supporting the Iranian people specifically, Waleed, and then you have the president meeting with the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, what we believe to be now in a closed-door meeting. You can't help but to think that this is probably Iran, is probably being discussed. Talk to us about this, Waleed.
Well, 2 points. First, making comments about the Iranian diaspora communities around the world, including in the United States. Obviously, the largest community of Iranian American is in Los Angeles, in California, and 100% against that regime, 100% asking the president to take action, any action. And some of them are even asking the president to deliver a speech to the Iranian people, because the biggest ally on the ground now to the United States are those tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. And going back quickly to the point of who will fight on the ground, we don't need to have any soldier on the ground. There are 200 to 300,000 people in Iran who are the activists who now been shot at. And I believe the official number is 500 to 600, but I believe it's much more than that. We will know in a few days through the NGOs. But with regard to the decision, the U.S. decision, I think that the president has crossed the line because the other side has crossed the line. He knows that he needs to take action. He wants to have an action that has positive consequences. This is why he has all the cards in his hands. He could do a very minimal one, but he want to make sure that there's no chaos after that and there's no urban warfare after that. So the strike has to be extremely intelligent and precise.
Iranian leadership ready to talk. That's at least what we've heard thus far. Still waiting what happens with the meeting between Secretary of State Rubio and President Trump. I'm out of time. Ken, thank you. Ken Timmerman, Waleed Phares. We appreciate that. So alongside the bow ties and diamonds at last night's Golden Globe Awards were these anti-ice lapel pins, which say "Be Good" in reference to Renee Good, who was shot and killed in Minneapolis. Why some of Hollywood's biggest stars are now taking a stance against the government, against this administration, that's all coming up in the next hour of National Report.